Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I am your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby! Now, as we continue on, or as I continue on the new Disney Plus series, X-Men 97, episode 6, where this is a spoiler review. So if you have not seen this show yet, go ahead, pause this, give me a thumbs up, because that would definitely help my YouTube channel out to grow. Watch the whole X-Men series of the current episode of whenever you started watching this, then come back and then check out all my spoiler reviews. So, y'all been warned. Let's get into it. This episode starts off with Rowan the Accuser and the Kree battling the Imperial Guard of Sharia, who was having a victory speech, but got interrupted by his sister, Lindandra, who announces that her and Charles Xavier are getting married to keep the Imperial strong, shocking us that he is not dead. Charles Xavier has survived. He is not dead. He's just been staying away from Earth, living a new life. And this episode switches over to Storm fighting her demons, which is like a giant owl. Now, it was kind of crazy. At first, I didn't realize if this was a real demon or this is just her fighting herself, her subconscious. And then in this episode, we find out that it's kind of both. It's kind of both because, you know, as the demons try to attempt to destroy her, Forge does come in, and he does a little magic spell, like something you would see with Doctor Strange, but it fell, and of course that demon owl bird thing like bit him, and of course she has to go out without her mutant powers, find this particular plant that's like in the mountains in a cave, because this is a type of plant that does not require sunlight, so that's cool, and we see that. You know, and that she's determined to go out to get that for him so she can heal him. And then it kind of switched back to Charles and Ladradra are being questioned about by the sister, and it says that, okay, if this is going to make the Imperial stronger, then he's got to erase all his memories from Earth, including the history of him and the X-Men. So this can be pure, like they call Earthlings Tauran, so it's Terran. And you know, we see like within this that he's willing to do this. He's willing to change his all because he's actually in love with this woman. And Charles Xavier's love life is a wreck, just like Gambit and Rogue's love life. And all the X-Men's, to be honest with you. And it's nuts because he's the guy you think who deserves to have a wife, and some way, somehow, he just cannot. And a lot of the times, it's himself that makes the ultimate sacrifice of not being selfish for his needs and do things for the greater of the world, greater things for the mutant race, and of course the X-Men. Because in this episode, we see this and then Storm. And you know what's crazy about Storm and Charles Xavier's journey back to what they're doing is Storm at one point before she lost her mutant powers, she was willing to live a normal life like she wanted to, but she didn't know how. But as soon as it's taken away from her, she realizes like that's not what she really wanted the whole time. And yeah, you could say, well, it's because they took the mutant powers away for her or compressed it, however they want to explain it. That is true to a certain extent, I should say. Sorry. But with Storm, right? We see her overcome it because she did get her mutant powers regenerated back, and she came out and OP mode with an awesome badass X-Men suit that you kind of recognize her wearing. And same thing with Charles Xavier. His thing was he was going to do it, but he just could not. And so he telepathically put everybody in the Imperial Guard in a classroom and did a lesson. Because Charles Xavier is a teacher. As he was doing that, he got the vision of what happened on Earth, on Genosha. And so he knew, again, he willing to, after just trying to convince everybody, like, you know, you guys are living a weird life, excluding no other outsource to help you, knowing that if you keep doing this way, your whole empire and planet's going to crumble, you know. And it kind of reminds me of Wakanda. But see, Wakanda has this resource to help Earth and other people around the world. This planet don't. Because if it gets destroyed, it's gone. And I think he was trying to teach them that. And he's willing to teach them that, then have his love life be successful. But he knew he had to leave and go back to Earth. And so he obviously chose that. And it was heartbreaking because that's a guy you would think would have the happy ending in story-wise. But I guess not. Same thing with Storm. I think Storm knows that her and Rogue Forge cannot be in a relationship. I think they both, just because they're in the same field, but it's the idea of like, this show's kind of foreshadowing Forge's death. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that go. And this episode particularly just went back and forth between Charles Xavier and Storm. And I think it was important for them to show this, is that these are the two who I still believe, I know they're going to kill off some characters. They kill off Gambit. We don't know about Magneto. And this whole thing was really interesting to say, okay, they're going to have new teammates, and we're going to need two people who's going to be wise and mature, and who's going to carry on or memorize other people in the X-Men group's events, the OG X-Men, to share and use as a teaching lesson for the next generation. Because they're still teasing that, is what I believe. And the fact that Gambit's gone, that's the craziest. And if Magneto's gone, that's even crazier. Like, who's going to be the bigger, badder villain than him? And that's many questions that they didn't really answer. But we just see Charles Xavier and Storm kind of overcoming their, kind of coming over in a sense of they figure themselves out, and they realize that their journey as Charles Xavier is, he still has another lesson to teach before he even hangs it up. Storm, she realizes that she's still got enough in the tank to keep going, and that her life is to help the mutants and save the world, basically. So I just thought that the way they set this episode up, these two are going to be the ones who are going to come in for the save and kind of get everybody on the same team. Because Cyclops, he's probably pissed off about it. Beast, he's probably sad about it and pissed off as well. Wolverine, he's a hothead, so he ain't gonna get his shit together. So it's gonna be up to Charles Xavier and Storm to kind of get everybody on the same page, basically. That's what I think about that. And what do I think about that? I think that makes sense. That makes sense that those two would be the characters to get everybody back on the right path and straighten things out. Especially with the government. You know, Charles Xavier's the one that's going to have to step in, step up, and battle a political battle that, Cyclops and Wolverine and Beast just they're just not capable of doing that because they're more action. Charles Xavier's better with his words. So let's get into some topics. Let's talk about the Imperial Guard. The one thing I want to bring up is, will they be in the MCU? And I believe that they already exist within the MCU. I believe they're not on Earth 616, but in the same universe. But I believe that they are going to be a surviving planet that survived Thanos' wrath. I believe that they were part of the snap. And I believe when they got snapped back, their whole planet crumbled. Whatever their planet is, right? I believe their planet has crumbled. Not like evaporated, but it's dead. Like, there's no life. Plants haven't been planted right. Water hasn't been... If there's water there, I don't know. So who are the members in the Imperial Guard? Well, here they are. First one, I'm only going to do 5. There's a lot. There's more than like 15. So I'll just do the 5 just to kind of give everybody an idea. So the first one is Gladiator, Earthquake, Electron, Fang, Flashfire. I believe that they were snapped away and then they were snapped back. And I believe that that's one of the planets that the Guardian Galaxy was trying to help. And they probably didn't want help, because if they're stubborn on this episode, they're probably stubborn in the MCU in the sense of it. And if you remember Guardian Galaxy Volume 3, the other planets in the galaxy were suffering too from Thanos' snap. And so there's a lot of rebuilding all over that universe. And I think that they're going to be coming to revenge. And I believe they're going to attack planet Earth and take all their resources. And that's where I believe we'll start seeing the X-Men. Now, could they just do an X-Men film? Yeah, and I bet you it'll be somewhere clued, or they're going to drop Easter eggs about the Imperial Guards. But I believe that they exist in the MCU, but they had no reason to go to war with other planets that we are familiar with within all the Marvel movies and shows. So there's that. That's a possibility. And does that need to be in the Guardian Galaxy film? Probably not. But that being an idea, if they wanted to take a little bit longer on producing a live action X-Men film for the MCU, which that could be a case. But that all depends how Deadpool and Wolverine does. And then could they be in the multiverse where Captain Rambeau found herself in the Marvels? Yes, but I feel like that's too much of bringing everybody from a different multiverse. I believe like some of these other mutant characters within, or just characters within the X-Men franchise series of comics and shows, that some of these characters probably already exist in Earth 616 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's what I believe. And I think the Imperial Guards, again, they just exist in this one. So if I had to play it safe, I believe that those are the people who are going to, bring out other people who are mutants, basically. So that's what I think about that. Now, let's talk about Charles Xavier. I believe that I believe him and Storm are going to be the ones who straighten things out. But I also believe that this is going to be the last time we see Charles Xavier. I think he is going to get killed off. Like, I think he's going to make the ultimate sacrifice. But who knows? That's just a theory that I just wanted to bring up, or a prediction. But I don't have a lot to say. I just think that we've seen two vulnerable sides for Charles Xavier and Storm. Like, these are like the characters who usually in the X-Men series back in the 90s were always very encouraging and wanting to be a good teacher, and always cared about the mutants and the students. So that's why I believe they're the ones who are going to put things back together. So I got nothing really much to go on with that, but that's what I think. But other than that, if I had to give this an episode 1 out of 10, I'm giving it a 10. It was just great to see that side of them, a different side, and watch them, learn more. Like, they're learning as well, and now they're going to take what they learn and by the mistakes they made and try to use it to guide younger future mutant X-Men members. So that's what I like about that. But thank you so much for listening to my review. Please, please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.